what you see. Okay, now I'll start with Kun Pong. Okay, Kun.
Algorithm
Okay,
first.
algorithm
First.
Okay, just fine. Did I say loud and clear? Well, I think maybe I add a little bit more to me, to the professionals. Kun Pong mentioned about AlphaGo, right? Let me discuss in a little bit more details. The AlphaGo, developed by Google, is does not only the execution model, or it's not just only the program computer who play the game, but actually artificial intelligence that can learn by themselves. Did anyone have seen the Terminator, something like that? And that's right, that is Skynet, something like that. They can learn that themselves with infinite life. 10 years, 100 years, 1,000 years, they can develop their mind and developing.
Yeah, and on this point, I like to share what I have seen in Singapore. At the beginning of this month, there was a summit called Deep Learning Summit, where top genius mind, people who graduated from Stanford, people who are actually working in the field, they are talking about what he taught. They are actually developing a game whereby they teach the machine to play, to trade in the market. And they have 3 levels. And what is really striking for me is that each level it goes, the score keeps going up. And the machine is relearning from its mistake. And that's just to add on to this point.
Yeah, so the machine replicate the human mind to develop themselves without trying, without breathing, without resting. So what we're gonna see in the future is we're gonna compete with more robot, with more machine learning. So the industry, investment professionals who can survive industry have to develop themselves to compete with computers. I believe that, I think Pong said, the traditional way or the value investing way or human forecast can be survived in the market, but with much more tough situations, and the survival seems to be a little bit less. Don't get me wrong, I really respect to Mr. Warren Buffett and also the value investing way, but to be fair, looking at the fact, in the last decade, even the Warren Buffett himself, the return of investment of his portfolio are declined significantly from the last 30 years. In that period, without the computer, without the robot, without the machine learning. So you're going to see the alpha or the return on investment by professionals seem to be a little bit, much more harder to find. According to the survey in the US market, 99% of mutual fund managers underperform the market overall. One of the reasons is the machine or the robot, the robot trading or algorithmic trade take much more share in the US than in the Asia and in Thailand. We're going to see maybe half of fund managers in Thailand outperform the benchmark, outperform the market itself, but it must be much more less in developed market like Hong Kong, in Tokyo, in US. You're going to think in this way. So what I suggest for you guys, ladies here, is to think about your long career path. Try to make a choice that you wanna be one of them, which is who develop the algorithmic or even machine learning or something like that, or you're gonna be the traditional way and develop your skill in that way directly. Do not sway from each other. Change side from side, you're gonna fail in the both way. I know someone that dedicated his life to develop the algorithmic platform. Maybe 10 years ago, now they can launch the algorithmic model which can generate average return of 15% or 20% year over years. And I also know the fund managers who are keen to forecast, keen to predicting, keen to invest in their own way, and can beat the market maybe 5 to 10% annually. It's going to exit today. So what I suggest, you have to make a decision, develop your skill, and sharing your experience with others. You have to have a community that belongs to you. Either value investing, you maybe join the Thai value investor club, something like that, to sharing knowledge, to develop your skill. Or you maybe turn to the side of the robot, maybe community of the algorithmic developing, or you maybe start up your own machine learning program and move in that way. So life must be more tougher in the next futures. I think, let me forecast in the next 10 years, at least half of you in this room, you're going to exit the financial industry. Even me myself, I'm going to exit as well. So if we cannot adapt ourselves to survive in the changing in market environment, we're going to pass away, like Kodak, right typewriters, BlackBerry, and maybe brokers in the next future. I don't know. I'm going to compete with the fin technologies, the applications, the mobile trading. So enjoy your days.
You have anything more brighter,
Yes.
more positive to
Yes,
add?
I have a suggestion about what to do now to be a better. I think that the function can be a function in the future, can be one of the function in the future. I think you have to quit doing the thing that computer can do right now. Is all we know that. But the thing that the logical thing, the routine operation, you don't have to do that. But use it or know it what it can do to decide, to emphasize, to support your thinking, your imagination is the best thing that you can do right now. Because even you can code, I may say 10 times as a man can do, you're so genius and you can code like 10 keyboards in one time. But there's someone in the world that's better than you, and more than 100, more than 1,000 times that there will be a guy that greater than you. But the one thing that no one can be replace you is that your imagination. And you have to use these tools that advance every day to make a profit by thinking, by accumulating, by designing by yourself. So I think if someone wants to change the way of working today, cut out the routine job, cut out the logical thinking that computer can do, and be more on the creative, be more on how to use these tools to make the money. As a fund manager, I do this because I don't do the. Of course, we use Excel that the decades ago to replace our arithmetic math calculation. But right now, the code itself can write itself with the people speaking. So if you can say the Facebook is already expressed this, that the code can be made faster than the human coding. So I think that the thing that we do today, we must add the value to the human creation. That is what you can do right now. There's no choice at all. And myself as well, I do every time about to predicting, about to forecasting, but to forecast more on what people may think in the market, not the computer may think in the market. Because there will be more than 1,000 computers that do the same thing, try to maximize the profit from the reflecting price. But the thing that the computer cannot do and the people want to do is that to make profit in tomorrow, from next week, from what the information that flood into the market. That's what we can do right now. So before our human race extinct, as a Skynet is coming out, I think the Britney Spears is still there, right? And if you want to be the Britney Spears or the Coldplay in the financial world, you want to be, as I said before. Thank you.
For me, I think that my view is a little bit in opposite direction. I'm quite optimistic about the rising up of insurtechs, and I would like to encourage you to feel about insurtechs as an opportunity more than a threat. I would like to say this because based on the fact that currently for some life insurance company, they already started to use the robo advice to start selling just a simple product and to explain to the policyholder. So the policyholder would be able to see the product plan and also to be able to make a decision based on their needs. However, for the complex products something like the unit link or equity link, something that related to the investment. According to our regulation and our law, currently we don't really allow these products to be sold based on online. We still need the face-to-face product offering based on agents and broker. So you can see that the new technology of InsurTech will be able to enhance the ability of agents and broker to help them to explain, because the what algorithm will be able to show them the graph and the future perspective of the return of the to show to policyholder to understand more and easier to make the decision to buy the policy. And on the other hand, what happened with the general insurance company, they still want to remain to stick with the broker. So it's likely that the big broker will invest in the startup company that can offer them the better platform for them that can reach out to the policyholder in the market. And I think that in brief, I think for the insurance industry, because we are quite highly regulated, we need the high capital to make sure that the policyholder will get money back at the end once the claim happen. So the startup company cannot simply enter into this company, but doesn't mean that you give up the hope. Once you have the idea, you can team up with the insurance company, which they have a very huge capital. And good news is that they're really eager to join with their startup because they see the future, that if they stop doing anything about technology, they will be wiped out with the foreign investor, which also have a bigger capital. And OIC, as a regulator, we also pretty much open for the new technology. So what we are doing right now, we are having the close forum with the FinTech Club to come up with the so-called sandbox. So for the startup to come up with their own imagination, as long as it doesn't impact the majority of the financial strength of the company, as a regulator, we'll be happy to allow them to play. So this will be a stage to alleviate the innovation in the insurance industry.
Thank you so much, Ka. Now, I think I'll give the remaining times to all of you before I wrap up the sessions. Is there any particular questions that you'd like to ask any of the panelists? Okay. If you don't, I have. I'm sort of curious, Kun Pong, I'll sort of pick on you. You were the CEO of a startup company,
Yep.
Phenomena, right? And now you sort of go back to the traditional.
Not say go back.
Okay, go further. No, as in coming back to the traditional,
yes,
the suit and not this kind of dress. Obviously, I'd like to ask about your experience.
Yes.
How do you find your experience between the working for fintech startup company and of course, a very traditional business?
Okay, right. This can take a day long, like I said before. But the summary that I have learned from doing the fintech, and I still do it right now, right? In the form of traditional. Okay. The first thing is that I learned that if you are the startup team that about to make a launch things that so exciting the market, I think the main thing that you have to do, you always know that you have a great team. And I think that you have a great team already. But the thing is that you have to keep the pace of the team equally. I mean that everyone needs to focus on what we are doing right now. This is a thing that we break or even exit the team out from the business. Because I know that the startup way, everyone want to be the success fast and get rich fast. But the thing that if you have a team that's great in the doing work, but you have to send the passion too. This is the main thing that keep the Phenomena is growing every day right now. Even I exit already with the reason that I have to go back to traditional business. The second thing is that you have to fail fast, and of course that I think The thing that people or gurus, startup gurus told you that you have to fail fast and start the new phase fast. This is work and it's practical already. I have applied this methodology in my real life every day. There's nothing like a role model, like a methodology that works in the past will work today anymore. I've read the Mr. Tolmon that's well written yesterday or last day that the people in this generation will live with the hope and hopeless every day. The emotional, the news, the situation, even the financial market will hold today but not tomorrow anymore. So everything that happened in the Facebook feed, you see that you feed today, you tweet today, or you write anything today. For tomorrow is the past. No one remember it anymore. So it's about how you can adapt, how you can fail and learn more than others in the startup industry. This is a practical methodology that you can use. Other thing is that you need to focus on only one thing. Only one thing, like a yellow book, the one thing that you read it and it can use. Because we cannot do anything great simultaneously, of course. Every team, every effort needs to do only one thing, and believe me, do it right now. Do one thing in the short-term period and get out of it if it's not alright, it's not okay. And do the next thing, not three things in the same time. This will crush you out from the industry. Because as a way, there will be a team like you, think like you, that do the forecasting in the more 10 times worker that do the same thing. So if you're not focused right now, it's about you about to be cancelled out. The next thing is that, more lesson today. I think the next thing is that your creation, your imagination, your idea is worth a damn, like everyone said. It's worth a damn. It's nothing more than to zero, next to zero. You have to execute only. Phenomena enter model, reach out to the market and make the AUM, asset under management, about the billions right now. But without execution is nothing at all. Because everyone, more than 10 entrepreneurs, think like us, want to do things like us, and want to execute, but they're not. Because we think that everyone can think that the mutual funds can be arranged into the portfolio model and we can bought for free from advice and we can take the commission back. This is the model that everyone can do. Wealth fund do that, Betterment do this, SigFig do this. But in Thailand, without people that executing this methodology, never happen. The phenomena never happen. Further from executing, you need to get yourself in touch, familiar with the current environment in Thailand, especially in Thailand. You cannot apply the thing that work abroad in Thailand. Like OIC, you can see this. This is the evidence, the living evidence of how you have to adapt to her, right? And I have adapt to the SEC and to BOT and to big player in the market like big banks, a green, a purple, a blue, deep blue, and something like that. Lastly, recently, the Bangkok Bank, they see the model, this model is coming up. This selling model is coming up. So they stop agency to sell their funds already. They want to sell by themselves, by the branch only, not by the reseller. So the phenomena enter will cut, like you have to cut down your leg because the BBL is so great in their fund, right? They stop providing service anymore. So this is a change that if you know or you not know, or you are the player in the market or not in the player in the market, you have to deal with it every day. I have been dealing with this every day, that people may want to use your product today but not tomorrow. But how you can get ahead of the people that maybe a love fan for you today but not tomorrow, right? So it's the real world, and we have to deal with it. That's the one number that's very exciting to know. At first we launched Phenomena Enter, right, to allocate asset for the investor. we happy, so happy at the first that people that come to use our platform, 50% can do it yourself online. But half of that need to do it call center way, traditional work. We so happy that, oh, more than 10% that we expect to do the online. More than half of them do the online. But we know the later that they are that come to use our platform, they promptly to use the online platform, but they fail at half. So this is a bad number, right? But we don't know at the time. We're so happy, but right now we understand that, and we have to adapt. We cannot happily living with the number that we already have, but we have to make the market further to deal with the problem that already exists in the Thailand ecosystem. But how we deal with it and how to deal with our platform is the thing that you need to do with your fintech startup. So that's it. I think the main thing is that focus. You need to focus is the best asset that you can have.
Now I'll pick on Kun Chatri. You talk about smart algo. To be very honest with you, if you try to convince me and sign up today, I probably won't, because I don't understand what you're talking about. So what I sort of like to ask is that what kind of obstacles or challenges that you find when you launch a product and you try to market it to the markets, and then maybe you can share with us a little bit about how it is doing at the moment.
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, we're gonna be a platform, a partner to anyone who have creations who can create our algorithmic model. So now we have several partners, we call it guru, who develop the model and distribute that model through our platform, to our plan or to the plan as well. So what we learned from our operation in the last maybe 8 or 9 months is it's hard to communicate with several gurus at the same time, with a different idea, with a different lifestyle, different something like that. So the first thing we have to thinking of when we find a guru, that is they can be trusted, they can be our good friend. So this is the first comment or the first advice for me to you all. As Kun Pong mentions, for startup, the most important thing is to focus, but it is impossible for you to focus on everything that needs to be composed of your products. You may be good at modeling, but you cannot have any time to thinking about the operation, thinking about the selling, thinking about the reporting. So what I suggest is focus on your job and find a good partner. You can share everything. Share your happiness, share your sad, share your gain, and share your loss. So if you can find a proper partner, a proper friend, they can grow together. I have observed many startups in the industry. They may start up with a good idea, with a good team, with a great potential, but they fail to find a partner. Even they fail to join, to stick together. So we have seen that many startup companies split off to do their own business, to get more share, to earn more success for their personal wealth. But what we're gonna looking for, or what we have experience for, is if we can start up with a good partner we can share our futures and share our visions, it's much better. So focus on your job and find the other ones who can do best, and and he or she can be trusted, right? This is the first thing I learned once I entered this broker business. Right? The second thing we learned that the consistency of the determinations is also important for the partner or ourselves. It's a little bit long time to develop something to be success. So along the way, you can be swayed by any factor around you, maybe failing 2 or 3 times failure in inconsistency can be distort or can be discourage your determination. So you have to improve your moral and keep the momentum of your team moving forward. I also have some problem when the performance of the models do not work as we expect, or the operations seem to be a little bit rough. But as the time passes, I'm going to learn that everything can be fixed. Everything can be moving on as you stay still focused on your objective. So, as Kun Panchamachwan said, what I trust on the algorithmic model is Okay. What I trust on our coding model is, I think we are on the right directions to move forward by using the advancement of technologies, and we are very optimistic on human intelligence, who can create a model, who can create a new things, and the determination of youngsters like you all. So now we welcome for any partners in the countries who can be develop their own model and talk to us. We can co-marketing, we can co-development, we can sharing everything on your side, on our side, and we go together. Now we have roughly seven financial models that launched, cover every angle of investment: the momentum style, trading style, reversal style, arbitrage, fundamental style, scoring style, quantitative, anything we have on the platform. What we try to do further is to improve the depth of the platform. We're going to have more momentum style in the platform. We're going to have more fundamental style in the platform, and we welcome our gurus in the country to talk to us and develop together.
Can I just ask a bit? The clients who sign up for the platform, are they like very young or very online, very technical?
Don't believe me. Half of our clients are middle-aged men or women, maybe 40 or 50s. Someone even don't know about algorithmic as well at all, but they know that this is the way that the financial community gonna move toward to. Or we have a guru who are partner and join us with the age of 55. They still conduct the code. Wow, right? And we have youngsters who just graduate, maybe 22, who join us and develop model with us. We welcome any. I don't think that algorithmic or machine learning are about the youngster who can develop. Any person of any age can be enter in this market. It's just only the passion that he or she have on the algorithmic. And we have a financial engineer, we have a technical IT guy who can consult him. I can share one thing, that some of Guru cannot write any single code by his own. He just only tell our ideas, what he thinks can be worked in the model, and we are the one who develop the coding and backtesting and get back to it. This work, this not work. When we try something, we can share with our experience, something like that. So I think in this way we can develop financial community in algorithmic trade faster than let everyone learn everything by themselves, right? So that's why I really believe on the KTBSC Smart Algo. Today is just a small platform. I think in the next 3 or 5 years it's going to be much bigger, attract more participants, and also we're gonna pave the way by talking to the regulators and maybe SET, maybe SEC, maybe OIC as well, to encourage the people who wanna improve their model or make use of his or her ideas better by use the technology, something like that. So that's what I can tell Kun Pachamaporn about what is our service. Here is a sample of our model that have already launched to the market and must be much more in this year.
Now I'll turn to Kun Thanita just for a few questions. You mentioned earlier on about the sandbox. And apparently, I think in this particular environment, everybody will engage the regulators in terms of whatever development that is happening, in terms of the fintechs, in terms of the trend that is moving ahead. Can you please share with us a little bit more what is happening in OIC, and maybe in terms of the collaboration with other organizations abroad? Please, thank you.
I have to admit that the word InsurTech just come into our circle of discussion in OIC just for the past 5 months. It's pretty new, and it's actually the external that forced into OIC to start to open our eyes, start to wake up what's going on outside. Yes, because we are a regulator, we are actually stay a little bit slower than the private sector, and especially the startup like the young generation in this room. But anyhow, we don't stop the innovation. We know that the world has changed very fast, and it pretty shocked for us as well that the actually a lot of big insurance company have a thought of investing in startup. Based on my experience that have a talk with a lot of owner of the startup, they said that startup, one of the key success factor is money, especially capital, is the capital for them to invest in the new technology. However, we know that for the insurance company, for them to invest in a startup, they have to subject to the investment regulation, which is pretty much have a lot of restriction in it. So we actually open for that. So a lot of issue that we are trying to hearing from the industry and then the startup, that any particular part that consider is a deadlock in our regulation, we are happy to hear from you. And if there any part that it's under OIC power, we can do straight away. But if it's something that need to go back to the main law, which is outside our power, so I think that there's a very good news that because the Thailand 4.0 policy that most of you have heard before, that this is a big this is our national policy that we want to turn from our industrial economy to be more digitalized. So the government has set up the team that already bring in all the regulatory body into the panel to make sure that all your regulation will be facilitate the startup and the advancement of the technology in the future, because Thailand don't want to fall behind a lot of countries. We admit that we are slow, but we still open, we very open for it. The sandbox that I mentioned is, maybe some of you have heard before, but just to give you a clearer idea, sandbox is, you think about if you are a startup, so we look at you as the kid. You don't know that how messy would be based on your new product. So we want just to confine the area of the mess that you may make in the area that we feel that it's acceptable. So this is the whole idea that so far I think that SEC has done successfully with a lot of fintech in the stock market, and also Bank of Thailand also is following the same path. OIC is also, this is a key policy from our senior management that in, I think within this month, we're gonna come up with a very clear requirement for those who wants to come into our sandbox requirement, that once you pass it, you can just click and then go ahead with your innovation. So I think it's a very good news for you who are a startup and wants to turn yourself to be an insurtech.
Thank you so much. I think very typical for Thai is that if you give them Q&A, they probably won't raise their hands. And what they will do is that they will hurry to the front to catch one of the panelists for a little bit of chit chat. So I'll do that. So I'll end the sessions right now. I hope that you enjoy listening to some of the quant view or the very high-tech view from Kun Chatri, and some of the moderate views that yes, human is still strong and we still have the power of creativity, that we will be able to beat robots. And before I forget, I have a little joke. Last year we went to Singapore, and I brought students, a small group of students, to meet with Dr. David Samuel. He is the father, I think, of deep machine. He holds PhD from Oxford in theoretical physics, and he has been doing deep learning for about 20 years. And he was sharing with us, the training of the machine to trade, and they will relearn from their errors. One of the students asked, is there ever a chance for us human to beat the machine? Do you want to know what his answer is? He kept quiet. So I said, well, I know what to do. You go to the server room, pull out the plug.
Okay.
Yes. Just pull out the plug, because the machine feeds on energy. if that is ever happening to you, just go to the server room, find where is the plug. But I guess you won't be able to get in that easily because of the multiple phase of control. So that's a little joke from me. And also we have heard from Kun Tanita about the excitement that is going on in InsurTech, and you hardly wouldn't be able to see a presentation that summarizes the key provider, the applications, and what phases or what business model that they are doing. I hope you enjoy the session as much as I do. To end today's discussions, may I invite Dr. Kitty again to please give the guest the token of our appreciation. Dr. Kitty, please. So can I ask everybody to please come to the front for one group photo? And then there are drinks and snacks in the back. So if you haven't grabbed one, please enjoy yourself.
Okay, please everyone. Today is a very good start for the program. I am also one of the investor, but I use the old traditional way. Pain a lot. In front, lady in front, please. Okay, come, lady in front. Please.
จะได้ติดเดี๋ยวกล้อง
ได้หมดไหมตากล้องอยู่ไหนย่อๆข้างหน้าได้นะสุภาพสตรีไม่ต้องย่อแล้วฮะเมื่อยสุภาพบุรุษมาข้างหน้าได้โอเคเก็บหมดไหมคะช่างภาพขอเซตก่อนอย่าเพิ่งยิ้มรอแป๊บนึง From the beginning today we also do the Facebook live Sorry that we did not inform you before.
Wow.
All the secret. You did not mention anything negative for sure.
Wow, thank you.
ผมขออนุญาตกล้องผมก่อนนะครับเดี๋ยวให้ดูมือถือนะครับ1 2 3รูปครับ1 2 3จะรบกวนขอจะเทียบที่ครับผม1 2 3อีกรูปครับ1 2เดี๋ยวเล่นวิดีโอผมด้วยนะครับกล้องนี้นะครับเดี๋ยวนะครับพร้อมยกขึ้นอย่างนี้ก็ได้ครับอย่างนั้นก็ได้ครับโอเคเดี๋ยวนับ1 2 3นะครับมา1 2 3เย้ขอลงก่อนนะครับขอลงพลัง2 3เว้โอเคมาครับมือถือกล้องไหนก่อนนะเดี๋ยวมองกล้องนี้ก่อนนะครับครับ1 2มีเยี่ยมมาคนนะเยี่ยมอีกเยี่ยมโอเคครับ1 2เยี่ยมครับตอนนี้ครับตอนนี้ครับพร้อมครับ1 2 3ลูกครับ1 2 3ขอบคุณนะครับเรียบร้อยขอบคุณมากครับครับเอาด้วยครับได้ครับดร.ปัญจมาพรด้วยเอาโปรแกรม Director ดร.วิศรุตทำโปรแกรม Director MBA ดร.วิศรุตพอไหมโอเคครับผมขออนุญาตกล้องผมนะครับ1 2 3สามารถชิดกันอีกนิดนึงนะครับโอเคครับผมได้ ครับผม1 2 3อีกรูปครับ1 2ขอ1 ไลค์โอเคครับผม1 2 3อีกรูปครับ1 2โอเคครับบ๊ายบายก็ได้ครับบ๊ายบายบ๊ายบาย
เรียบร้อยนะเรียบร้อยค่ะขอบคุณครับขอบคุณมากครับวันนี้ฟังไม่เดย์นะแต่ออกไประวังนะต้นไม้ที่มันลงทับคนเลย
ต้นไม้ใหญ่ตรงเซ็นทรัลตอนนี้มีปัญหาก็ปิดถนนหน้านี้
เรา
ที่มา
ต้น
ไม่ได้
ได้
ถ้าออกต้องเลี้ยวซ้ายออกผ่านไม่ได้เพราะว่าไม่แน่ใจว่าเขาถนนเราไปได้เนี่ย
So he said that one of the big tree come down
อยู่ท้ายเดียวเลยนะ
one person got accident from the tree fall down
ที่ผมมาไม่ได้เพราะว่าถนนกำหนด
who drive here when you go out of the building the
ไม่
left
ใช่ต้นไม้อ๋อเหรอเป็นเรื่องทับมอเตอร์ไซค์ตายก็เนี่ยทับมอเตอร์ไซค์ตาย
accident มอเตอร์ไซค์
โอ้โหใส่
ต้นไม้
ใส่ตายเลยเหรออาจารย์แนนเรียบร้อยใช่ไหมกับนักศึกษาชาวไทยเดี๋ยวเชิญดื่มน้ำก่อน